What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host, Heather C. So, Unexpected Season 5, Episode 2 has aired. First things first, Jenna and Aiden were absent from the episode tonight. We have not seen them. We will have to wait and see what's going on with their story. We know there is drama brewing, and we want to get to the bottom of it and see what's going on. We're going to have to wait another week. But we did catch up with Mason and Emerson. So, let's talk about Emerson, who had her 37-week ultrasound, which Mason was unable to attend because he was spending time with his mom because she was just recently released from prison. We found out that she had a drug violation and she did a little over 3 years, and they're catching up. And we found out that Shannon felt that if she was actually not incarcerated, that this pregnancy never would have taken place because she feels that she would have been more involved and she would have made sure that Mason and Emerson didn't do this. And I think that that's wishful thinking because teenagers do things and they hide things really well. So yes, she can blame Ernie and she can blame Lisa and she can blame anyone around. But I think that if they set their mind to do it, this is what was going to happen regardless of how closely you were watching them.
I agree. I think that with technology the way it is, I think that kids are always one step ahead of their parents because from when his mother was younger till now and this generation compared to then, technology is more intuitive. People have ways of like going in these apps and talking in code, and a lot of the parents that are not into the lingo are like, what is going on? So I think that it's very easy for kids to get away with stuff, especially if parents are from the older generation and are not so tech savvy. It's very easy for children to be like, hey, going to so and so's house, and then they're actually meeting up with their significant other.
Yeah.
So it's wishful thinking for her to think that, but I don't think she should blame herself. Like I said, I think that the kids are they're on a different page. This generation, this youth is on a different page than the last. And I think even if you were the most like direct parent, like, involved, strict, I still think that if it was going to happen, it's going to happen. So it's pointless to blame ourselves. It's time to move forward, accept what had happened, and just love the child.
Yeah, love the baby. The baby is coming. Love the baby. And it's ironic because both moms kind of are blaming each other. Each other's families. And, at this point, the baby's coming. You have to accept each other, love each other, and become one as a family for that baby. And I'm hoping that's exactly what happens.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about Lily and Lawrence, right? So Lily and Lawrence have a bittersweet last Mother's Day at Lily's parents' house because they're finally moving out, which at 20 and 21, some people are saying it's late. Some people are saying it's early because of the responsibilities they have. We're going to have to see how it turns out for them because it's different for everyone. So Lily is really sad because she wants that bond with her mom. And although it's only 45 minutes to an hour away, they make it seem as though they can't make that drive often, which is interesting. I don't know the limitations that they might have, but I don't mind hopping in the car and driving 45 minutes to an hour to a theme park or something. So I'm hoping that when they move and they realize the distance isn't that bad, that the bond will still be there and they'll still be able to see their parents because that's important. But when it comes to Lawrence and his mom, they're ready for this move. They're ready for him to be out on his own. And I think what's really interesting about the story is the financial issue of their relationship is finally starting to hit the fan. Living with their mom, not having to pay rent, and not really seeing the finances of it has made their relationship very smooth. And I think now that they're moving out and they're spending thousands, I think she said $5,000 just for the apartment and the deposit. And then they have to furnish it and then they have to do the bills. So I think that this is the real test, right? This is the test of the relationship.
I agree. I think that they are going to have a lot on their plates, especially, stepping into something new. Lily is very used to her mom being there as kind of like a safety net. So she'll have to really be able to be like, wow, I have to wake up in the morning. I have to feed my baby. I have to feed my daughter. I have to, do all the stuff that maybe my mom was able to help me with. I did get a little laugh out of them saying the 45-minute to an hour drive because my parents, well, my dad, he lives about 45 minutes away, give or take. And I'm not a huge freeway driver. So, I mean, it's funny how something to some people can seem like 15 minutes away and some people it seems like an eternity. but it could be worse. I mean, they could be living in different states. One could be, non-existent anymore. So they still have each other, if they need each other. But I think their biggest struggle isn't going to be without her parents. I think it might be a money factor, because it seemed to me like when I was watching it, they're like on two separate pages. It seems that maybe Lily is more into like, I want it, I buy it type of thing. And, Lawrence is more kind of like frugal, wanting to save, seeing where all that hard work and where your dollars really go to. So I think that might be their biggest struggle. So I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch and see, because last season we thought it was discipline, but I don't think that that's going to be an issue anymore. I think, like you said, it's going to be the financial aspect of the relationship. And
Yeah.
we've seen communication is key. And when they communicate, like we saw them talking about breakfast and him cooking for her and him saying that that's not my job. And we were even getting into gender roles with just cooking breakfast for Mother's Day. And I'm just thinking this communication has to get stronger. And I'm just hoping that the finances it's going to break the camel's back. So, all right, guys, that's for part one. We're going to come back to part two and talk about the rest of the couples. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. This is the Unexpected Podcast. We're on season 5, episode 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to talk to you guys really soon.